Hi, welcome to Cariboo Country Lifestyle. My name is Cheryl. Today I'm going to be getting my sweet potatoes going because I need the sweet potato vines from them. And I have purchased a bag of organic sweet potatoes. It's good to use organic ones. And I'm going to be planting them in this tub, plastic tub. I've put a mix of the Sunshine Mix 4 along with some seed starting mix that I got from Art Nap. They make their own seed starting mix, which is quite fine, and I really like it, so I mixed it with the Sunshine 4 mix. So I only have a couple of inches of soil in this bin. I'm not going to be burying the potatoes right in the soil. I'm going to more or less nestle them into the soil, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I won't be planting all of these in this bin. Each potato can produce anywhere from 10 to 20 plants. So I'm just going to pick some of the smaller ones, and all I'm doing is I'm just nestling them right into the soil. And the soil is quite moist. And then I'm just going to bring this up around the edge. And you want to keep the soil moist so that it can start sending out the sprouts. Oh, this one's broken. I wonder if I'll put a couple going this way. Get another little one here. We absolutely love the sweet potatoes. We eat a lot of them as fries. And I do them in my air fryer and they turn out amazing. Okay, and then I'll put this one here, and then I'll try and get one more in here nestled in to the soil. We're going to put this one in on its side. Okay, and then I'm just packing that dirt around the potato. So that is what it's going to look like. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just have a heat mat here on the rack, because you want that warmth. They like the warmth. So I'm going to have that heat mat underneath here. Yeah, I just want to pull it over. And I want the dome over it to kind of hold that moisture in around the potatoes, and you're going to want to keep the dirt fairly moist until we start seeing some sprouts coming out from them. You want to keep the temperature around 24 degrees Celsius, so that is why we have the heat mat underneath there, to keep that temperature warmth. Sweet potatoes do like warm conditions. I'm not sure how well that's going to work here. Sorry, we usually have a cool spring, and it's going to take about 4 to 6 weeks for those sprouts to get to the point where they're tall enough, because you want them to be about 6 inches tall coming from those tubers, and then you're going to break off the vine down as close to the potato. Just break it off right at the potato. And then what I'm going to do is I'll take those sprouts and I'm going to stick them into a jar of water, so then they can start growing roots onto the sprouts. And then once I have the roots established onto the sprouts, then I'll be planting them out in the garden. They say that the best conditions for sweet potatoes to grow the best is 120 days of really warm temperatures. So I'm not sure what that is going to look like. And this is the reason why I was following an article that I had found about growing sweet potatoes in the north. So we are going to be putting down across the landscape fabric, the black landscape fabric, we are going to put it across the bed, cut holes into the fabric, and then plant those slips in the fabric. And that black fabric is going to keep that soil nice and warm. And I think that is going to be the key to having success with the sweet potatoes. I did planted 5 there. So if I get anywhere from 10 to 20 slips from those, I should have more than enough to be able to plant a full 33-foot row of potatoes, because I am basically taking one of those long beds down in the back behind my raised bed garden, and I will be committing one of those long beds strictly to sweet potatoes, as long as I get the slips. It's best to have the soil to be around 18 degrees before planting those slips into the soil. So I think that landscape fabric is going to help with that as well, warming up the soil and having it at the right temperature before planting those slips. And then when you plant your slips, you're going to plant them about 4 inches deep, and with them being that's about 6 inches right there, and then you get your roots growing from the bottom of them, so about 4 inches deep, and then you're going to space them about a foot apart in intervals. And when I was planting my regular potatoes, I was kind of doing it in like a W pattern and offsetting, and I could do that way. I was getting them at 1 foot intervals, but I was offsetting it on a diagonal so that I could maximize and get the most amount of sweet potato slips or potatoes planted in that 33-foot row. So here's hoping that this works as good as I think it's going to work. And if it doesn't, well, then I don't know what else I could do. I have planted sweet potatoes before, and they were actually quite small. They were smaller than those ones that I just put in that dirt. Like, they were probably about 2 fingers wide. They weren't very big, and so when you have to peel them to do anything with them, there's not much left over. So we'll see what happens, and we'll take it from there. Anyways, I just wanted to show you how I do my sweet potatoes. Really short video. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.